All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Justin Clark here, along with Paul Sousa and our amazing guest that we've got today, Mr. Sean Logan. We are here broadcasting live, doing the Crypto Edge podcast. And this really does give you the edge on what's happening in crypto. We're going to cover a couple different things for this episode number 2 of the podcast. We're going to be talking about some news, crypto news. There's definitely been a lot of news. There's been a lot of buying the rumor, selling the news recently is what I'm noticing on the charts. But anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit. And we're going to talk about some new coin listings that have come to Coinbase and Binance. What looks like they're fun to trade and what looks like they're just nobody's paying any attention to them. And then, of course, we're going to be talking with Mr. Sean Logan, early Bitcoin adopter, traveling digital nomad, and also now a swing and also day trader because of iCoinPRO, which is kind of cool. So we're going to be talking with Sean a little bit later on in the episode. But first, Paul, I think it's time to get right into it with this.
Right. So over the last sort of couple of weeks, there's been a lot of news coming out. I think one of the biggest things that we know is Bitcoin pulled all the way down to around 78 or so before rebounding above 80. So
76 and change, but who's counting?
Yeah. Okay. So it seems like 80 is a bit of a support. We're not going to try and predict which way it's going to go, but people are wanting to know why the dip. Is the bull run over? I have my theories on that. However, there is a lot of stuff that was contributing to the decline in the Bitcoin price, and that was tariff wars, as well as Federal Reserve rate cut expectations. And ahead of the US CPI data, obviously the market was a little bit shaken, especially because of the very aggressive stance that President Trump has taken against certain countries, which led to the declining price of Bitcoin. But
I have a totally different take on it, Paul. Everybody thought Trump was going to come in with trillions of dollars and pump their crypto bags they've been sitting on. And it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, they're making this crypto reserve. I mean, listen, it could affect the price positively. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people thought like they were going to come in and just start like buying Bitcoin on the daily, like the U.S. government was going to DCA into Bitcoin, right? And that's not the case. They're like, oh, well, we've confiscated 200,000 Bitcoin, so we're going to stick them here and we're going to sit them. Is essentially what it amounts to. And any new coins that they confiscate, they're adopting a policy of not selling them because I guess they had a certain amount of Bitcoin that they sold, and then they looked at the current value of what it could be now, and so they were just kind of shocked.
So although with the altcoins, anything that's not Bitcoin, if you kind of read between the lines, it's kind of suggesting that what they're going to do is they're going to dump those in favor of more Bitcoin. But there's still a lot of rumors floating around that the government will be purchasing Bitcoin, and along with all the other states, I know that Senator Loomis is very, very keen on pushing this to get states to purchase Bitcoin for their own reserves. Texas is probably the first state that's going to be taking action on that. So everyone's going to be watching to see, because I think the minute that one state actually confirms that they've purchased Bitcoin, a lot of others are going to follow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting times. It's going to be interesting times ahead in that respect. But there's other news. I'd really feel bad for people that loaded up on Ethereum watching what some of the big players are doing, because Ethereum has just been on a backslide, and it's very unexpected, because no one in this game who know that Ethereum up to date has always been a very strong coin has now faced a 4-year low against Bitcoin 2 days ago or yesterday. A 4-year low against Bitcoin. It doesn't bode well for Ethereum, and a lot of people had hopes that Ethereum was going to be, the bag was going to get pumped because of all the behind the scenes purchasing and so on. Didn't happen. Ethereum's even in the worst place today. But in any case, right. So we guys know we know that there was that massive Bybit hack, and a lot of people thought that Bybit were actually going to go down. Seems like they are okay. Yes, they did have to borrow Ethereum just to keep going, because they didn't have Ethereum for people who wanted to withdraw. So now they've borrowed from other exchanges. But Bybit seems solid. They're not going under. I mean, a hack of this magnitude would have crippled most exchanges. So they seem to be doing well. What we do know, however, is that the North Korean hackers who helped themselves to $1.4 billion worth of Ethereum, they've been funneling that into Bitcoin. And this now boggles my mind, because we have these hackers using Ethereum to purchase Bitcoin. We have all this talk of nation states purchasing Bitcoin. We've got companies, MicroStrategy, now rebranded to Strategy, coming out saying that he's putting a plan together to purchase another $21 billion worth of Bitcoin. So why is the price in such a decline? It's almost as though the price is being suppressed. But we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. It's going to be quite interesting.
Comments on that, Paul. Do you think, all right, so now MicroStrategy is strategy. Should we just become the profit system? I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because
let's just call ourselves Pro. And this is not the crypto edge, it's just edge.
We'll see. But I saw a funny meme the other day. It was Joaquin Phoenix, who played the Joker in the Joker movies, and it was one of the truly like dramatic scenes where he's freaking out and doing his mentally unstable stuff. And it said, in order for Joaquin Phoenix to prepare for the role of Joker, he had to hold Ethereum 3 years. For 3 years, yeah, that was how he prepared for the role. Yep,
love it. All right, so what's happening with ETFs? Guys, we know that there's been a whole bunch of talk, like a whole lot of talk of different altcoin ETFs. I mean, people have been waiting for Solana ETF. Now there's news of an XRP ETF and a Polkadot ETF, and all the rest. And the SEC has sort of pulled up the handbrake on that. Nothing happening yet. I know it's frustrating for a lot of investors who have been, hoping that ETFs for a lot of different altcoins are going to pump their bags. It's not a bad thing. I think it's not something that these companies want to rush into. And like I've mentioned before, any company that launches an ETF in unfavorable market conditions, they're going to lose favor with the investors. Yeah. It would be the quickest way for them to drive off the investors to somewhere else. So it's not a bad thing that some of these have not yet been decided on yet. But yes, there's Litecoin, Dogecoin, XRP, ETFs, Polkadot. It's the list is just endless. I don't think that we're ever going to see the same effect on an ETF like we saw with the Bitcoin ETF. I don't see most of these coins doing the same type of gains that Bitcoin did. Bitcoin was special. It was the first of its kind. And I know a lot of hearts are going to be broken. But I think when you get involved with crypto, you have to set some boundaries and you have to be real with yourself. That way you don't get your heart broken and there's no anxiety. Sean, I know you've been like a long time holder, man. Like you've been holding since 2016 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you've seen, because I know, like from that time until now, it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. Like, how have you been able to deal with a lot of these dips and climbs, man? Because it is heartbreaking as an investor.
Yeah, it can definitely be an emotional roller coaster if you're not trained on how to emotionally detach yourself. So I've always been a pretty emotionally resilient person, but looking back on some of these other bull runs, like the 2017 bull run, especially watching Bitcoin do a 30%, to 35% correction, it's actually normal market behavior. So like recently watching Bitcoin go from $108,000 a coin down to, $80,000 a coin, down to 79, 78, 77, $76,000 a coin. If you do the percentage on that, well, that's like a 30-ish so correction. And Bitcoin did that like 5 or 6 times during the 2017 bull run, from its ascent from $1,000 a coin to $20,000 a coin. So even though there's all this, there's hype and there's FUD and there's hype and there's FUD and there's hype and there's FUD, and oh my God, Donald Trump is pumping Bitcoin, and oh, there's an ETF and an XRP ETF and a Solana ETF and a reserve and all this hype, and like, oh, they're manipulating the market, and there's FUD, and then there's the SEC lawsuit's going to continue FUD, and there's hype and there's FUD, and it's like, well, yeah, we have all this hype and this FUD and all these rumors, but if you look at the market behavior, it's actually perfectly normal and not out of the ordinary for Bitcoin to do a 30% or so correction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happened. I mean, honestly, it'd be abnormal if it didn't do some movements like that. And honestly, Bitcoin's gotten like too stable for me as a trader. Like, I don't even trade Bitcoin. Like, that's not even any fun. You know what I'm saying? That's trading like a blue chip stock now or something. It's boring. So like, I want stuff that's just crazy. Not quite as crazy as like a Giga Chad. Like, I can't trade Giga Chad. It's the meme coin for the Giga Chad fix, dude. Like, I can't trade that. Although I might do it if it gets, the volume gets right, the movement gets right. But I like the ones that are kind of in the middle now to trade, because they move, they're emotional, they're everything. But yeah, Bitcoin's kind of boring to trade as a day trader. You're not going to get the bang for your buck out of that. And that's why, I mean, with what we do, and this, Sean, knowing our system, like those altcoins, there's like a sweet spot. There's certain ones that'll move as Bitcoin's moving, but their movements are exaggerated. And those are the ones I like to really focus on and make the profit from. But yeah, Bitcoin's kind of boring. But speaking of Trump, man, yeah, I mean, he is shaking up the markets. Businesses do not like uncertainty. Investors do not like uncertainty. There's tremendous uncertainty right now in all the markets. It's not just the crypto markets with what's going on. And so, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people are just kind of afraid and don't know what's happening. And, confidence is a bit shaken and stuff like that. But Bitcoin can do whatever it wants to do. I mean, again, none of this is investment advice. We're just discussing the current market and what we're seeing from our perspectives. But Bitcoin could blast off and go to 200K from here, or it could continue the trend it's on for a while. But the good part is it's not going anywhere. I mean, we know this at this point. In fact, never going anywhere because of the fact that the U.S. government now has this stockpile. I mean, you don't get more legitimate on planet Earth.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Which brings me to the next piece of news that I wanted to discuss, which was the overturning of IRS and SEC rules regarding DeFi. So really simply, DeFi is decentralized finance. That is where people are able to operate, buy and sell without going through a centralized exchange like Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, and so on. Instead, they would use a decentralized exchange, otherwise known as DEX, in order to be able to do their swaps and so on. But there's a lot more that people can do on decentralized exchanges in DeFi than just swap one coin for another. There's a lot of cool projects that happen on DeFi. Up to date, DeFi has been in the early days of crypto, Bitcoin was like the wild, wild west. Crypto was the wild, wild west. Now it's a little bit more legitimized, but there were certain areas of crypto that were still seen by the regulatory bodies as being a bit shady. And you could say that DeFi was kind of like, the dark net of the internet. People didn't quite know what was going on there. It's very difficult to track, who's doing what and who's buying, who's selling, where's this going, because people can bridge from one chain to a completely different chain using DeFi. Like, how do you track things on there? So it has been to date sort of still part of the wild west of crypto. But now the IRS have basically turned around and made a change in how they view, and this is from a tax perspective, how they view what happens on decentralized exchanges and DeFi. And there's no companies. We know that the SEC did drop a lot of lawsuits against different entities, private people, and companies, and DeFi is not on their radar. So for those people who are big DeFi fans, and I'm somewhat of a DeFi fan, I do love the concept. I do love the private aspect. I do like the fact that if I want to commit different trades on bet you guys thought I'm thinking I was going to say something else. No, I'm talking about normal transactions. If I want to commit different transactions, I can. No one's stopping me, and each trade is not being recorded by a centralized exchange like Binance. People still need to remember that off-ramping is not as easy from DeFi, so you probably still might need to rely on the decentralized exchange. So it kind of, it's just something else within the ecosystem of crypto that is being formalized. And hey, you know what? It does play a major part, because the amount of things that happen on DeFi, it's astounding. The amount of money, we're talking about billions and billions of billions. Like, a large part of the market cap of crypto is in DeFi projects. And why that is because DeFi exchanges don't use an order book like we know them in Coinbase, where you go and leave your asset there with a sell price, and then when it gets to that price, it either buys, sells, or whatever the case is. No, they use liquidity pools where any one of us can go and put in an equal part of, say, BTC and USDT, and every time that a swap happens between one of those two, you get paid. So but those liquidity pools require people to put liquidity into in order to be able to operate. And that's where a lot of the value, the total value that is locked in DeFi, is in a lot of these liquidity pools. And it is such a massive ecosystem that it would be very silly to try and control it or limit how people use it and so on, because it does form a massive, massive part of crypto. But so yes, bit of good news there for those DeFi fans out there. DeFi is, finding its feet and becoming legitimized, the same way as Bitcoin now is a very legitimate thing in the eyes of the law. Right. So what else? Trump had his first.
I got a comment on DeFi, because you make it sound like it's legitimate. It's honestly, you talk about the Wild West of crypto. DeFi is the Wild West. I mean, these 100,000% APR products that they're offering, which spin crap into an infinite amount of. I mean, it's so bizarre, and it's like, yes, you can lose a ton of money so fast on some of these rug pull projects over there. Not to mention, you got Fartcoin. It's a DeFi project built on BNB chain. I mean, it's not. Yes, I get what you're saying, Paul. It's up and coming and stuff's happening for it, but it's still, man, be careful in that area. It is crazy dangerous. And I know of stories where coins launch, go up, thousands of %, and then immediately down to zero, and there's no liquidity, in that area.
So I am going to say this. Okay, I'm not a fan of meme coins. Never was, never will be. And in my opinion, Dogecoin is a meme coin. It was the first absolutely deemed fart coin.
Yes, they did. That's correct.
So I'm not a fan of meme coins, and I never was. And I believe that meme coins steal money from people. There's no reason. They have no utility. there's no reason why people would hold a meme coin that serves no purpose. It's the same as, okay, I do realize that Pokemon cards, they're very rare ones, they have value, and there's a booming economy around things like Pokemon cards.
Oh my God. Dude, there's a guy locally who goes in, like Noah and I try to go get Pokemon cards sometimes. There's a guy locally who goes and he knows when they drop the new cards here locally, like on Thursday, he goes in and buys them all out. Some adult, and he must be selling his cards on Whatnot or eBay or something like that. You can't even get the Pokemon cards half the time because of this dude. It's crazy.
So yes, I mean, things like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon cards, and so on, legitimate. They come out with a few of them, so on. But meme coins, there are literally thousands of meme coins being created every single day. And memes are seasonal. They change. They're not evergreen. Okay, because a joke that was funny 2 years ago is not funny today. A lot of people made memes based around. Where did Sean go?
I noticed that he froze. I'm sure he'll be back here in just a second.
So, a lot of people. I lost my train of thought there. But meme coins are, in my opinion, they are not evergreen, because if we look like at any big thing that happens, so Trump winning the a second term, okay, there were a lot of memes surrounding that. There were a lot of meme coins created to commemorate him being in office for a second term. Okay, is that meme going to have any significance whatsoever now?
No. Mm-hmm.
So precisely, this is exactly what I'm saying. That meme coins are seasonal. Okay, they and they have a shelf life. Like, they are in my opinion not a good investment. It's basically get in, get out before somebody else does. Yes. Someone is always somebody else's exit liquidity when it comes to meme coins. I don't trade them. I don't buy them. I've dabbled here and there, and then no, I refuse. And it's so strange that we see something like Dogecoin that has a massive market.
I know. Just you love the fact that Dogecoin is,
because even the dude that started Dogecoin, he was like, "This is a joke," and he doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't get why it became so popular. But the internet's a funny place, But yeah,
Elon made it popular.
Yes, he definitely did.
Elon
even before he did it, was still quite popular.
I mean, yeah, it was
traded.
Because back in the day, it was like
the first one.
Yeah, and it was like 1 to 2 Satoshi or 3 Satoshi. It was like very, very low. The chart just looked like it just went up and down one tick, over and over again. It would stay that way for months, and then all of a sudden it would rise up, and then it would go back to the exact same spot and do that over and over again. Back in the day.
So it was an oscillating coin because it gave people the opportunity to trade it like absolute crazy. Because I know you traded it, Justin. I know you.
Yes, I got stuck in it back when I was starting out, and I had no clue what I was doing. But it's 16. So I traded it just this past week. I'll trade it. I mean, I'll trade anything if the volume's right and the pattern's there. Except for GigaChat. I don't know. I have a real thing on that one. That just seems like there's no reason for that.
Funny enough, Dogecoin was one of the things on my list of news, because it's had a quite a drop, probably a lot more significant than some of the other big coins that are out there, with a 30% monthly decline, which is massive.
Yeah,
and a little bit of digging reveals that there's waning enthusiasm around meme coins, and it's going to affect Dogecoin. Okay, so take from that what you will. I don't hold it. I don't trade it. I refuse to. But it is what it is, man. Anyway, we're running out of time. So, last little piece of news was the crypto summit that happened last week Friday at the White House. no one really knows what happens behind the scenes, because I watched the first bit where they introduced all the big people that were there. They revealed a trophy that's going to be for the Club World Cup that's going to be happening in the US this summer, and then Trump chased out all the media, and then they were behind closed doors. So what they discussed, no one really knows, but the idea was to discuss where everyone was going to fit in. But if you have a look at some of the attendees, you had people like Michael Saylor from Strategy or MicroStrategy. You had the Winklevoss twins. You had and they from Gemini, the platform from Gemini. You had the head of Coinbase there. You had the head of Ripple there. But then, when you take a look at the attendees, and then people like Vitalik Buterin, who heads up Ethereum, was not there. Whether he was invited or not, I don't know. But yeah, we don't know. They made such a big hoo-ha out of it. Like I was glued to I wanted to watch it, and then it was a big nothing burger. Like nothing came of it. Like we don't know what they discussed once they chased the media out, because the stream ended. But in any case, hopefully soon we're going to find out more about that. But one of the things that it seems like they did discuss was that the US will be purchasing. How they're going to make that work, we don't know. But it goes back to the discussion that we had in the beginning of this call or this podcast. But yeah, so yeah, that's the big news over the last 2 weeks. Price going down. It's always the same. Like it's never going to change. Number go up, number go down.
Nope. And again, I mean, it's like everybody's minds. It's, was it buy the rumor, sell the news this time? Was that the news cycle? You know what I'm saying? Or, is this the best time to get involved? You don't know. And that's why I like sleeping well at night, just trading in and out. That's me. I know you guys both love holding it. So I think that's why this is fun to do. But yeah, it's interesting to me. I mean, what's happened and just seeing how it shapes up on the charts. So we will have to see. Paul, we got to get into the next segment here that we got to do, because we are moving along. We're already 30 minutes into the podcast here. And that's one of our traders' favorite parts of this podcast, which is all right. We got some new coin listings going on here. I'm going to take a look at these. We'll look at their charts pretty quickly, and then I want to talk with Sean a bit, because just talk about his journey with trading and crypto. And of course, iCoinPRO too, our company that sponsors these podcasts. So the first one we'll look at is a coin called MyShell. Shell, it's on coin. It's listed on Binance. It's a new listing on Binance. Hasn't made it over to Coinbase yet. And let me just take a look at this. So whenever I look at these things, let me read about this coin here, and then we're going to just take a look at its chart and see what's what with it. Hold on 1 second here. Get everything all set up. Shell USDT on Coinbase. Oh yeah, that looks great. Oh, that looks really good. I'm sure everybody who's got Shell is excited right now. So this is what Shell is. Shell is an AI. AI is the buzzword, right? So everybody's going to be coming out with AI this, AI that, okay? Shell is an AI consumer layer for everyone to build, share, and own AI agents. The team bridges AI and blockchain through agentic frameworks, open source models, and AI creator community. MyShell also provides users with AI-powered entertainment and utility while offering them shared ownership. There's going to be a circulating supply of, max supply of 1 billion Shell. And there's 270 million Shell that are circulating right now. So yeah, it's a lot of shells out there. So far, I mean, it's just been a sell fest for Shell. Everybody who's got the coin, they've been just selling it since it launched. It looks like 27 February is when this is launched. Volume was pretty good on Binance, but now volume is waning. So people are just not paying attention to it, and it's continuing to decline. So probably for us, for our traders, not one that they're going to be trading a lot or super interested in. But we'll see if that comes back up on the radar as the volume picks up. Maybe the volatility picks up and stuff like that. But that's what's crazy is, so like 10 million in 24-hour volume, 14 million is extremely low for Binance. I mean, for Coinbase, that would be a lot, a pretty good amount on Coinbase. But if that's what the volume is, it means nobody's paying much attention to it. So it needs to go find a bottom and go sideways for a while, probably. All right. Next new listing is a coin called Redstone. Let's see what this one's got going on. All right, here's Redstone. A little bit better. Okay, so this is maintaining 75 million, 22, 41 million. People got a little excited on this. So Redstone, let's see what this coin's about. Redstone is the fastest growing Oracle. There's Oracle again, Paul. So it's like Oracle and AI, I guess, are like the two buzzwords, right, in crypto. So you want to build something around that?
The thing is, there've been other oracles, and nothing came out of them. So the minute that people use the word first an oracle when it comes to crypto, I kind of tune out, because I know it's not true. I will say this about Redstone, though. They got wrapped over the knuckles from Binance, because they did their launchpad on Binance, and people that were staking Binance's native coin BNB were supposed to be rewarded with a certain amount of Redstone. Redstone turned it around and actually decreased the amount of Redstone that were going to be distributed to people that were staking. It was immediately canned by Binance. They got wrapped over the knuckles, although they were still listed.
Interesting.
Don't trust someone who can keep their word.
Do you think if they were an Oracle, they would have seen that coming?
Yeah.
Redstone is the fastest growing Oracle, specializing in yield-bearing collateral for lending markets and securing 10 billion plus blue chip DeFi protocols are our clients, including Spark, Morpho, Compound, Pendle, Venus, Lido, blah, 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 and other 80 plus other clients. So there are blue chip DeFi protocols now, just so you know, Paul. So there we go. All right, Redstone provides a wide variety of in-demand assets such as LSTs, LRTs, Bitcoin LSTs, and many others. Okay, so anyway, that's Redstone. But I mean, people are interested in it, so volume is staying relatively consistent. It's not just a bitter sell-off right from the launch, so it could be something that could show up on the radar for us to want to trade. And again, I'm not offering any investment advice on any of these coins. You know, there's so many coins now in crypto. Man, you don't know what's going to catch fire and what's not anymore. All right, let's see. Rez is a new listing to Coinbase. It's been around on Binance for a little while. This is what it says about Renzo. Renzo is a liquid restaking token. Man, they're trying to sound smart with these. All right, and strategy manager for EigenLayer. It is the interface to the EigenLayer ecosystem, securing actively validated services and offering a higher yield than Ethereum staking. The protocol abstracts all complexity from the end user and enables easy collaboration between users and EigenLayer node operators. Rez is the governance token for the Renzo protocol, which is backed by a liquid restaking token, EZETH. So there we go. It's some sort of staking deal. And yeah, nobody's really paying much attention to it. I mean, it just doesn't have a lot of volume. So maybe if the volume picks up on that, that could be kind of fun, but not one that, you know, the reason I look at the volume is because volume equals attention, right? And the more attention that's on something, the more, trading, volatility, everything that's going to happen with it. This has, I mean, literally, 4.5 million in trading volume, 3 million in trading volume. It's very low. There's just not a lot of attention on it. So trading it, you can get, if you want to be doing some trades on it, you can get stuck and have to be waiting a long time for something to move on a coin like that, right? Because of the lowered volume. All right, let's keep moving along here. We got GPS. Interesting. GPS. And it's not what you think. It's not some sort of tokenized AI-based, self-driving system or something. I don't know. It's this. It's Go Plus Security is building Web3's first decentralized security layer, providing comprehensive protection across all blockchain networks. Interesting. Through its open, permissionless, and user-driven architecture, Go Plus can be seamlessly integrated by any blockchain or project to protect their users through their entire transaction lifecycle. Sounds pretty reasonable. Again, gosh, just a straight sell-off for the coin. So it's got to find its bottom, start trading sideways. Volume is very, very low. It's only on Binance. So, I mean, not the time when we're going to start playing with it. For us, we want the high volume, high moving coins where the party is at. So kind of started out, looks like it's, obviously people are going to be disappointed with an initial listing and then a 78% drop. That's just not good. That's not good. So we'll see what happens with that one. But again, not one we've got on our radar. Last one is Cookie DAO. So let's see, Cookie. It's a new listing to Coinbase. It's been on Binance for a while. Not a great showing so far. Down 78% and struggling sideways. Really low volume on Binance. I couldn't imagine how low it would be on Coinbase if it's only at 4 million a day in trading volume. It says here, Cookie is the utility token of the Cookie DAO and a representation of the value of information in the agentic economy. It guarantees the Cookie DAO keeps gathering and indexing the growing number of AI agent data. So it's an AI type deal. It is a utility token that grants access to the token gated sections of the Cookie Fun Index, Cookie.Fun Index, and is required for agents that plug into the Cookie DAO APIs. All right. Well, anyway, it's an AI deal type thing, but again, not a lot of people trading in it. Investment perspective has not been a good thing for people so far. So, we'll just have to see what happens with that. But that's all the new coin listings. Not anything like, breaking out like we had. And again, I think that's also, Paul, just indicative of the downward movement of the whole market. And I think that's what people need to understand is that Bitcoin is a big bully, right? And, when it starts to go down, like you mentioned, all these coins are they're launching into a massive headwind, right? So it's going to be very difficult for them to go up in this market until the trend changes with Bitcoin. Bitcoin just if it starts going down, everything goes down, but more dramatically, right? Like if Bitcoin drops 3%, the altcoins like to implode 10%. And that's where we love. I mean, we love that volatility and that aspect of it. But yeah, launching new coins right now in a downtrend can be a bit challenging. Except for PiCoin. PiCoin's done pretty well. It's like gone over and stuff. I got some PiCoin. I can't sell it because it's not anywhere on any U.S. exchanges. So I'm a forced.
All they're doing.
So, but anyway, I know you haven't even looked at it. None of us. I don't know why. It's sitting there. So that's the different coins that I've got there. And now it's time to talk with our special guest of the week. All right, awesome. Sean Logan, hello, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Cool mic you got there. So we, it's great to have you on here and talk with you because you've been around crypto for a while. Long-term investor, holder, early adopter. In fact, we've talked a couple times about your history with crypto. You're a bit of a digital nomad too, traveling, producing content, doing affiliate marketing. All sorts of stuff, and of course, trading crypto as well. So anyway, it's great to have you on here and have your kind of perspective on things. Again, we're not giving any investment advice here. We're just talking about what we see that's happening in these crypto markets right now. But I've got the first question for you, and I know Paul's got a couple questions just to kind of get an idea. But tell us, like, how did you discover crypto? When did you get started? How much was Bitcoin when you bought your first Bitcoin or got your first Bitcoin? Did you buy it? Did you get it? How did that happen?
I got into Bitcoin at $450 a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I got it is I was actually doing some affiliate marketing for advertising services. I was selling like pay-per-click ads, solo ads to other network marketers and affiliate marketers. And I was also teaching some of these network marketers and affiliate marketers who wanted to come online and start learning how to build their client bases using platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So I put together some trainings to help them, like when they would buy the traffic package. I was like, hey, before you actually buy this traffic and we send you this traffic, make sure you have some YouTube presentations put on your YouTube channel. Make sure your Facebook profile, your Instagram looks good. You want some good photos. You want some good videos. That way that there was something there. I didn't want to sell them a traffic package with nothing for it to stick to or nothing for it to subscribe to. And some of these clients that were purchasing the traffic packages, they started paying in Bitcoin. So I got some Bitcoin commissions back when it was $450 a coin. And then shortly after that, Bitcoin went to $800 a coin. So I was like, whoa, that really caught my attention there. And then that's when I really started to learn more about the technology and how it's decentralized and like the SHA-256 algorithm and proof of work and all that stuff. And then that led me to also learn about things like Ethereum and XRP, which those were the next two cryptos I purchased because like I had this Bitcoin. And so after Bitcoin went up in value and I was making some money with Bitcoin, these were actually my first swing trades I did is I went from Bitcoin into Ethereum. And at the time, Ethereum was like $12 a coin. And then I also took some of my Bitcoin profits and I went into XRP, which at the time was 0.006 cents a coin. And then Ethereum went up and XRP went up. And then so now I'm just kind of like swinging back and forth from different cryptos and cashing some out. And that's kind of how I got into trading, as I kind of was just swing trading and like kind of hodling some of this stuff. And then I learned a little bit about day trading. I read a little bit about it online. I heard some other people talk about it on YouTube. And so I tried to do day trading also when I was getting into the swing trading, but day trading, I just lost my money like really quickly, actually, trying to day trade. So I kind of just, I stayed away from day trading for a while and I just became like a hodler and more of like a swing trader. But that's how I got into it, just back in 2016, 2017. That was my introduction to crypto, I guess, was I accumulated it kind of by chance in a way. Like I kind of say Bitcoin found me.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm like not a good investor. I tend to like, I'll put money into something and then literally within 3 hours, I'm looking at the price of it. I'm like, is it going up yet? Or am I making money? Am I losing? And that's why I think I've liked trading in the piece that I get from that. Did you come in and you got your Bitcoin? It sounds like you swapped some of it out for XRP. You were swapping it back. I remember back in the day, it was very confusing too. Like when I started trading in 2017, the Bitcoin pairs versus the USDT pairs. You didn't have USD anywhere. Like there wasn't USD yet. But I was like, why is the price this on here? And then the Bitcoin price was this. And I remember like, oh, wait, if I sell it into Bitcoin and then sell my Bitcoin, I'll make money on the trade. It's something that I'd still lose money because it was all kind of the same.
PTCE, that Russian exchange, they didn't have USDT. It was US dollars.
Did they really? Wow.
Yeah. So you
was
had
like
a dollar account. It wasn't a token account. It was a dollar account with them. And that's what you traded your Bitcoin against. The other markets they had was Litecoin versus Bitcoin. But I mean, heck, we're talking early. I mean, those guys been banned.
You don't see anything. I mean, the BTC markets, the volume is really low. Like the LTC, BTC, Litecoin, Bitcoin, it's really low compared to the USD, and USDT markets have taken over. I mean, for sure. It's crazy.
I remember that. But actually, no. So Litecoin was the other one I got into, but I started mining Litecoin back in 2016 when you could actually back then you could actually mine this stuff and make. And I think Litecoin was like a few bucks a coin. So back then you could mine it.
That's great. All right. So did you have the presence of mind to just hold on to everything? Or was there any point where you were like, okay, I need to sell this. I'm scared. The price is going to tank. I mean, you went from 450 to 800 bucks. You doubled your money. Were you like, okay, that's great, I'm out? Were you like, the one meme that they constantly post, the guy is like, oh man, Bitcoin just went to, 20 cents. I'm out of this freaking trade wreck. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. I mean, how did you stay in the game for as long as you have?
Well, one thing that made me stay in the game was learning about the technology and then learning about the tokenomics and the decentralization and the whole self-custody concept. And I also, one of my early mentors, he showed me the graph of the price history of Bitcoin, and I saw the 2013 bull run of how Bitcoin just skyrocketed super high, that year, and then looking at it going down. This was in 2016, and I looked at 2015, 2016. Is like, oh well, my mentor was like, yeah, it's probably going to do something like that again. So I just took it for face value, and I was like, okay, I saw this as a very significant technology that was going to empower a lot of people, and at the time too, I was also studying and learning a lot more about just banking and finance and the Federal Reserve and how the whole world has kind of been manipulated by this Federal Reserve US dollar fake money system that's inflationary, and they're using it to finance wars, and they're using it to manipulate markets, and they're using it to cause depressions and the housing market collapse. It's all tied to the US dollar and this central banking system. So I had already learned about how corrupt that system was. So I was already just kind of subconsciously looking for an alternative. So Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, I just saw that as an alternative, and not just an evolution of the monetary systems, but this is like an evolution. To me, I saw it as an evolution of human consciousness, because money is just energy. Even the way we describe money, currency is an electric current. You swipe your credit card, you charge your card just like you charge the batteries in your iPhone. Liquidity, the current of a river, the side of the river is the river banks. We deposit our money into the banks. So I just saw this is just like the conscious evolution of money. So I was like, I'm just gonna use this, and I'm just gonna hold it and see what happens. And that did really well for me all through 2017 until the end of 2017, when everything started to crash back down.
Yeah, and I remember that too. It was brutal for me because I was in the learning phase of trading.
Yep.
It was. What's really funny is I literally started trading on April 20th, 4/20/2017. It's just not my thing. I'm not, I don't smoke weed, but I just happened to start trading on that date, and it's funny. So that's when I started, and it was a crazy process because everybody's a genius in a bull run, right? I mean, everybody. I remember this one guy. He'd hit me up on Facebook, and he'd show me his trades, and he was doing 300% on this coin and this. And here I am making these small micro profits, going in and out, compounding my balance, and I'm like, gosh, maybe I'm doing this all wrong. And I felt that way until 2018, when all of a sudden the wheels came off the bus, and I've never heard it from that guy again since 2017. Here we are, 2025, right? So it's brutal. Yeah, I mean, it'll make you question everything. I remember talking to Paul a couple times in 2018, pretty rough times. But again, yeah, if you believe in something, and you are comfortable just suffering those type of drawdowns, and you think it's really going to be something good. I've said this many times. You can either trade in and out, small profits, compound, try to do the safest way that you can possibly do it with a good, reliable system, or you become an investor in something you truly believe in, and your time horizon is decades for profit, right? You're not looking at it next week. You're not looking at it in a month. You're like, even if it goes down 85%, I believe in this thing so much, I'm just going to buy some more of it. You know what I'm saying? Wherever it goes, and I'm going to keep holding on to it, till whenever, until I see what I want to see out of it. So anyway, that's that's kind of my 2 cents on that. So Paul, you got any questions here for Sean?
Yep. Let me just refer to my list.
Yeah.
So we know that you had exposure to crypto and trading, swing trading, a little bit of day trading prior to you becoming a member at iCoinPRO. What's changed when you became a member?
Well, when I became a member of iCoinPRO, I started learning very specific patterns. When I went through the micro profit system and all the trainings, it showed me these patterns to be in and out of trades, in a day, going from like a stable coin or a USD balance into a crypto that's really volatile, and then right out. And for the first time, I actually did that successfully. Like, I got in and out of trades within a single day. Well, I mean, it was, some of the trades were like within a couple hours, a few hours, and I got into profit. And like, I did it again, and I got into profit. And that's something I had never done before successfully. Like, I tried to do that back in 2016, and I kept losing money, so I stopped. But then iCoinPRO actually like taught me how to do that. And then as I progressed through the trainings and learned some of the other technical indicators that they have, and then I started to zoom out, because like on day trading, we do it on the 5-minute candle. But then I went onto the 4-hour candle and the 24-hour candle, which is, this is getting more into like the more long position swing trading stuff I do. And I started seeing the exact same pattern that I learned for the day trading play out. But now I see it playing out like over like a whole month. I would see the pattern. And what this did is it optimized my swing trading that I was already doing. So like with my swing trading, some of the volatility it's so much that like, I mean, I wouldn't even need to use candlestick charts to know that I was seriously in profit. But what the candlestick charts and iCoinPRO taught me to do is look at the very specific patterns on a much longer time frame, so that I could really identify a better exit point and also a better entry point for my long position swing trading that I was doing. So, it taught me like some day trading stuff that I had never done before, but it also optimized the swing trading stuff that I was already doing prior to iCoinPRO. So, it just optimized everything I was doing. And it's just made it my whole trading strategies and everything more confident, more resilient. And then also taught me stuff that I can now pass along to new students and teach to other people and just help other people. So yeah, definitely optimized everything.
Yeah, and I know you love to talk to people about crypto, and obviously you've introduced more people than anybody else to iCoinPRO, which is awesome. Congratulations on that. So, but I remember recently you were posted on Facebook about XRP, and you had seen what you were looking for from your training in iCoinPRO, and you nailed it. I mean, again, who the hell knows? They could go higher. It's like Trump said in that crypto conference. He says, they say you shouldn't, get rid of your Bitcoin. You never sell your Bitcoin. He's like, who the hell knows? And I know Michael Saylor was like, oh my gosh, did he really just say that? He didn't want to hear him say that. But the point is, you're better at it. You're never going to know exactly where the top is, where the bottom is. It can do whatever it wants to do. It can go down and become more painful than you could ever imagine. It can go up and become more, amazing and incredible than you could ever imagine at times. But usually when it's doing one or the other, it tends to be pretty quick, right? Like when it goes spastic pretty quickly. When it goes down, it also goes down. You get a nice return, pretty quickly as well. But yeah, it was really cool seeing you posting about that, feeling confident about it, and then you did nail at least the top for now, right? So we'll see where we go from here. But as far as entering and stuff like that, I mean, how do you feel like our software, like the portal, stuff like that? How do you use that? How do you find that helps you with nailing your entries? I mean, you're not, for me, looking at it and understanding the system as you now understand it, it's like we're not just flying blind. We're not just buying when we think it's good. It's when there's a pretty good certainty that it's good, or selling when there's a pretty good certainty that we've hit a good point. How do you use all of that, with what you're doing now?
Well, the word I like to use, because again, nothing is investment advice or financial advice. The word I like to use is probability.
Yes.
I use all the technical indicators and the signals that I'm getting from the iCoinPRO trading portal to figure out what's the highest probability of something happening. What's the highest probability that we're really close to the bottom and we're going to go back up, and what's the highest probability that we're at the top and we're going to correct for a little bit until we go up again. So when I log into the iCoinPRO trading portal, to me, it's kind of like a little all-seeing eye, because it's scanning hundreds of trading pairs on the biggest exchanges, and it's telling me which ones are dipping, which ones are squeezing. It's telling me which ones have a high or a low relative strength index, and all these technical indicators. So whenever I want to, or like even if there's a certain crypto that I'm already holding with the long position, and I see it starting to dip down, and if I'm thinking about expanding my position and buying more, before I do that, I'm going to go into my my trading portal, and I'm going to look at the relative strength index. I'm going to look at the MACD lines. I'm going to look at all this stuff just to get an optimized view on whether or not I think it's a good time to buy. And the same thing if I'm like if I'm thinking about selling something, I'm going to go into the trading portal and look at what all the charts are saying, look at the technical indicators. And before I make that decision, again, I've got this it's like it's optimizing what I believe is going to be the most probable thing to happen. And it's been pretty on point. And again, like XRP recently,
you nailed it.
in November was a perfect example of this, because XRPs, again, I've been in XRP since 0.006 cents. So I've been holding this thing and scraping profits and swing trading it for a long time. But I've been holding this XRP position for years, since the lawsuit. I mean, I started taking positions in XRP at 18 cents, 22 cents. And then it rode sideways at 50 cents for like.
Dinia's got a question. He says it's like you're cheating the system and printing money.
Well, I mean, so technically, okay, I don't consider trading printing money. I consider mining crypto is like printing money. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's cheating. It's more just like it gives us a big advantage compared to everyone else that doesn't have it. So
People who don't have it, yeah, they are really flying blind.
yeah.
Go ahead, finish that thought, Sean. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, but like XRP was an example because XRP was just riding sideways at 50 cents for a long time and people were getting really frustrated. And then in November, it shot up to like $2.75. But if you look at the pattern over the whole month that it had that upward move, it did the 1, 2, 3 money strategy, but it did it going upwards and not downwards. So when I saw that, the triple break and the Bollinger Band going upwards, because I sold a little bit on the first break, I sold a little bit on the second break, and I sold a whole bunch more on the third break because I knew that pattern iCoinPRO taught me that when there's a triple break going up or down, high probability it's going to do a reversal in the opposite direction.
Yep. And again, we don't know where it's going overall. This isn't investment advice. We're just talking about Sean's story and really, anyway, just cool thing that happened for him recently using the system. Last thing I want to ask here, because we are right at the top of the hour here. Sean, if you could give one piece of advice to someone brand new to crypto trading, what would it be?
Click the link in the description of this video or wherever you're watching this from, or with whoever sent you this video, and ask them for their iCoinPRO referral link. And there's this free course, completely free. It's called the Trading Bootcamp. And it's going to teach you that 1, 2, 3 money strategy, or that 1, 2, 3 money pattern that I just talked about that I used to nail the top of an XRP trade. And it's also going to teach you just the fundamentals and the basics about how to use a cryptocurrency exchange, how the candlestick charts work, how some of the technical indicators work. Go through that training course and start learning some of these skills. And then while you're learning some of the trading strategies, also remember to also learn how to use the hardware wallets and store your crypto safely. Learn the fundamentals, the difference between custodial and non-custodial. Learn the difference between a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange, and combine all this knowledge with what iCoinPRO is going to teach you, and just actively start watching the markets and watch the patterns. And what's going to happen is you're going to go on the iCoinPRO Trading Bootcamp. You're going to see this pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it, because when you log into Binance, you log into Coinbase, you log into Bybit, any exchange, you're going to see this pattern over and over again. And you're going to see it on the 5-minute candle, the 1-hour candle, the 4-hour candle, the 24-hour candle. And every time you see it, you're going to be like, that was money on the table.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Sean Logan, thank you so much for being here today. Paul de Sousa, thank you as well. Thank you also to all our viewers and commenters here watching our podcast. And again, we're going to be back in 2 weeks with episode number 3 of the Crypto Edge podcast, so we can keep giving people that crypto edge. Again, I want to thank both of you guys for being here today. We're going to throw up a quick disclaimer, and then we're going to wrap up the podcast for today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.